Welcome to Ghosts and Grit.
On this episode, I'm joined by Tyler Gray. He's a very close friend of mine. We used to be roommates at one point. We go back many, many years. He's a writer, a director, a producer on the show SEAL Team on CBS. He's also a former special operations operator. So we go into all sorts of stuff on this. It's a really, really awesome listen. So I hope you enjoy.
Tyler Gray.
Hello, hello.
Hey, welcome to Ghosts and Grit. Now, I guess we should probably fill people in on kind of how I know you, because most people go, wait, what?
Yeah.
We know each other from the gun range.
Yeah.
We, in, what was it, 2009?
Well, hold on. Like how specific do we want to get? Let me tell the story.
We could get pretty specific.
Yeah, we'll it's a better story if I tell the...
You're a better storyteller than me anyway, because I'm like, oh yeah, this just happened.
Okay, so there's a third party here named Justin, which we could probably do a whole podcast on. And if you ever want to have a living ghost on, I hope he hears that, because that's actually hilarious. Anyone who knows him knows that's funny. Anyways, so he's like, hey, I think it was his birthday party. It was his birthday party.
Yes, and by the way, for reference to people, Justin is Justin Melnick, who's also on SEAL Team with Tyler. He's the dog handler on the show.
Yeah, I've known him forever. I actually couldn't say how I've met. He's like one of those people you don't know how you met. Just one day he was in your life and he appeared, and then you're like, and then you can never get rid of him.
No.
So he's like, all right, so it's my birthday and you're going to be there and Jack Osborne's going to be there and he wants to join the military and wants you to talk him out of it. You remember this?
I do remember this now.
And it was at some club that was like at the time really trendy. It was across from Soho House now.
Yeah, it was
I can't remember. Troubadour.
No, not the Troubadour.
Oh,
no,
shit.
It used to be Bootsy. Was
Bellows.
it
Bootsy Bellows.
Bootsy Bellows.
Yes. Okay, so in the Hollywood lore of it all, there was like the Bootsy Bellows had this like club, and then it had this back room which was about this size.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. It's a very small little room.
Yeah, very small little room, and it was like its own club, and it had like a hidden freaking library door. It was something crazy, and it was like a club within a club, and you had to be cool to get in. And it's like where Lindsay Lohan at the time would go, and people like Jack Osborne. So, anyways,
I think I took Miley Cyrus there once.
I don't even remotely doubt it. That was Justin's intention: talk him out of joining the military. Obviously, I had been in the military and had gotten medically retired, blah, blah, blah. So I go there, and I remember it's a nightclub. It's fucking loud. We go in there, and we were talking, and we talked for it's like an hour. It's a long time. Now, keep in mind why this is, to me, a funny story. Jack's single at the time, okay? I'm single at the time. And there are, hot chicks everywhere.
Yeah.
And not like hot girls, like Hollywood freaking behind the scenes in a secret room in Hollywood, the most exclusive place you can get to hot. And we are ignoring all of them.
Yeah, we were just having a good bro out.
Which you and I actually turned to a degree into an art form. I would argue when we started going out. But anyways, so we're back there and we're just like talking, and I'm like, all right, tell me why you want to join. I want to know. Before I talk you out of it, I just want to hear. So he tells me over 45 minutes about as loud as this. And then after that, I just looked at him and I'm like, you got to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to. I'm like, you got to do it. And you're like, yeah. I'm like, well, yeah, everything you're saying to me it mirrored. And the reason I told him that is because it mirrored why I joined. And it really has nothing to do, look, we could talk about raw patriotism. We could talk about all those things, but those are all red herrings in my mind. Well,
those are the classic tropes. That's the default. But, for me, it was a bit of I don't know. It was just something at the time I felt like I really wanted to do. I'd had this stint doing the Osbournes. It was hugely successful, but my plan was to never go into TV. It was always finish high school, join the military. And I was, like yourself, I was in high school when, well, no, you were already in the Army when 9/11. Yeah, but 9/11 happened. And I was like, I want to go fucking go do something.
But you were already like, I remember a doll you showed me from the Osbournes, and you had like LCE on.
Yeah.
So, and again, I never saw that in the show or whatever, but it was always there. It's like when people ask me, why did you join? Why did you choose to join? And I say the same thing. I say, I didn't choose. It was never a choice to me. It was something I had to do. And so I told Jack, you got to do it. And what's, kind of interesting about that, well, first of all, the birthday party ends, like the next night, Justin's like, what the fuck? I told you to talk him out of it. You literally told him to do it. It was the exact opposite of what I told you to do. And then Jack and I actually got each other's numbers, and we went shooting and hung out and stuff. But what was interesting about it is at the time, you basically were like, okay, I have a couple irons in the fire for shows. I'm either going to join or one of these shows is going to go.
Yeah. That's exactly right.
Exactly right. Yeah. I have like an elephant.
Dude, you have an insane memory.
I do have a
like
good memory.
You're like, oh fuck yeah.
So that was the thing. I'm either going to get a show, and you had like 3-ish you were developing, or I'm going to join the military.
Yeah.
What's interesting is that you got a show. One of the shows went. What's to me, in the what's the word, in the fate of it all, had that show not went, and had you joined, you would have been put out of the military for being diagnosed with MS.
This is so fucking true.
100%.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Because it was like
we talked about that. It was like
couple years, 3.
No, dude. It was like a year, maybe 18 months after.
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
maybe.
that's really interesting.
Yeah, and because we talked about it at the time, I was like, dude, had you have joined, you would have got kicked out for MS.
Yeah,
you might have found out. You would have. In my opinion, knowing what I know, I think you would have found out earlier
before
that you had
from all the tests.
Well, no, just something would have went. In that process. Something would have manifested, in my opinion. I don't know. Not that it would have made a difference in anything, but either way, that dream, that wouldn't have been able to happen. And then, obviously, after that show didn't last. I don't even remember which one it was. Yeah. But, look at you now. You're on, like, 18 different shows. So
yeah. Well, you too. Seriously, out of anyone that probably works in Hollywood, you've probably got one of the more fucking interesting stories, Tyler. And when I met you,
how do you quantify that?
Because, all right, how many fucking writers, directors, producers, actors were fucking tier 1 operators who got fucking medically retired and blown up and fucking found his way into Hollywood?
Okay, that's fair.
That's fair. Like, I don't know. I mean, most guys coming from your career are like instructors or like, selling gear online or, whatever, which is great. And it's an awesome, or contracting.
Yeah.
There are a very few guys that were in the job that you had in the military that have kind of done what you're doing now. I don't know anyone else.
No, and there is, there's people that are, nicknamed, his name's Craig, but nicknamed Chili Palmer. He advised Extraction 2, Gray Man.
But an advisor.
Yeah. I mean, he's advising. He's doing great.
There's a lot of advisors, but there's not. You've hit all 4.
I don't know anyone else that has done that. But here's how I explain it is, me, you knew me before I was working in Hollywood, but not every
you were doing video games when I met you.
There you go. So actually I guess I was full-time at that time, but because, projects come and go, but it's one of those things where, for me, I just look at it as, when I was in, an operator, I was the only film nerd there.
Yeah. Interesting.
And that's true. I was the only film nerd there. So, when I got out, as a little kid, I don't know if I've ever told you this, but when I was like 4th grade, I used to walk around the track at my elementary school with my best friend at the time, and all we would do is talk about movies. That's it. we would talk about movies about like, my favorite part of Star Wars is how Han actually like acts like he hates everyone, but in reality he really likes everyone a lot. It was like
layered. It was deep.
It was deep. It was deep about it was about the directing, and dude, we were like in the 4th grade. What the fuck did we know? Right?
Yeah.
Well, actually, I guess kind of a lot. What's funny, I've never told you this, but it's kind of relevant now. My best friend at the time, Sean, was a horror fanatic.
Okay.
Dude, his entire bedroom was like masks and shit from Nightmare on Elm Street, and like it was crazy. And I fucking hate horror movies. So every sleepover we went, it was Nightmare on Elm Street 1 through 3. I think at the time, Freddy. Like I'd watch them over and over and over, and I hated them.
I have to be in the right mindset. I have to be in like a real it has to be with like a group of friends. I'm not like at home with with my chick watching horror movies. I have to like go to a theater with a bunch of friends and like make a thing out of it.
So I try not to watch them. I just don't like them.
Why? You just don't like to get freaked out by it, or does it kind of stay with you?
Okay. I'm gonna give a theory here because I don't really know.
Mm-hmm.
But I think when I was a kid watching all those movies, there was no separation between real and fake then.
Yeah.
So when I watched fucking Nightmare on Elm Street, it freaked me the fuck out.
Okay, this actually brings something to my attention, which I have you're talking about real and fake.
Yeah.
Why has Hollywood, in no fucking movie ever, actually mastered what happens when someone gets shot? Why do they always have it that they're fucking flying around? It's like, dude, I don't need to
just taking dirt naps?
Yeah, well, I don't need to explain to you, but when someone gets shot, they don't fly. They literally, it's like lights out, collapse.
So I'll say this. So last night I went to a screening of Kandahar, which is the movie the most recent one I worked on, and I talked to this actor, I won't say who, and I was like, and I told him basically, dude, this is how it happens.
Mm-hmm.
This is what it looks like. And this dude does a take, and I'm watching it on the monitor. I'm like, that's it. It's the most realistic death I've ever fucking seen on camera. Whatever. I'm not objective to it, but and then I just watched the screening last night, and it's in there.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
Nice.
It's good, dude. And by the way, he definitely fucked himself up doing it. No question that he that night was fucking icing his head and but he
wow, so he just did the full flop
hit and just goes down hard, dude, lights out, and it looks really good. But
I mean, even
it just looks so. And here's what's interesting is it looks so much more ruthless than the
totally
the flailing or the get with a shotgun and get launched through a fucking window and all that stuff. It's the just dropping is the puppet cuts the strings. Or the master cuts the puppet strings.
So you joined the Rangers, 19 years old, and what was your trajectory from then? Did you know that you wanted to go over to a tier 1 unit, or was it just like a?
So let me back up and cover the thing. So this is sort of true. So I didn't exactly know. I was I wanted to join the military, and then I was working in the phone room. I was trying to make it in Hollywood. Basically, what happened was everything at once. At one time, somehow I think I was still 18 when I figured this out. I realized that, this Hollywood thing's probably going to take a little bit longer than I think. And I still wanted to be in the military. So I was like, this will always be here. This one has a time limit. I don't know how I knew that, but somehow I knew that. And I've never said this before, and I'll say it. The thing that pushed me into the military is that job got raided by the FBI.
And that was the first time Tyler ended up on a list.
Yeah. That was the first time. That was prior to going to Quantico and dealing with the FBI personally. But no, that was no shit.
Wow.
Yep, they got raided by the FBI, and I'm
like,
I will join now.
Yeah. So then how long were you a Ranger?
Total time, 4.5 years, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I went to Ranger school, got back, became a sniper, did that for 3 years, and then, actually did that for 2.5 years, and then 9/11 happened, and then deployed to Afghanistan when First trip to Afghanistan, I was a sniper team leader.
Oh shit! And so that was like right after you were
That
in the
was-
second wave, right?
Yeah, that was right at, technically it depends on how you, I got there right after Anaconda had pushed every bad guy to the Pakistani border.
Okay.
So we got there and then we built all the outstations along the Pakistani border, which is where we stayed for the next 20 fucking years.
How were you? What was your mindset when you were like, hey, all right, now's you're going?
So I joined for 4 years. Okay, my enlistment was up in 2001 or something like that. But later, when September 11th happened, I was in my re-enlistment window. They were fucking nagging me to re-enlist. I was like, if we get orders to Afghanistan, I will re-enlist that day. Until then, fuck you.
Smart.
We got the orders. I re-enlisted for 6 years.
Shit. Okay.
Yeah. At the time, when there was no combat going on, I was like, I was going to get out and go back to Hollywood. And then a war happened. I'm like, well, I'll stick around for this. This is
cool.
Yeah, this is new. So I grew up in the 80s. So for me, like I've said this to you. I've said it, but I'll say it again. And that is, I was the kid that watched First Blood, watched Stallone's character all fucked up with PTSD, and I was like, that looks cool. I want to do that. That guy's fucked up. God, if only I could be that way. I can't tell you why. I can just tell you that I watched Rambo, and I wanted to be fucked up.
You just want to be left alone.
Fucking 60 in the fucking building with the cop on the roof, buddy. That's where I was at. So, when war happened, I had watched every Vietnam movie there was in the 80s, and this was Vietnam.
Yeah.
So I was like, fuck yeah.
Were you scared at all?
No. And I'm not saying that.
Because I don't think I've ever actually asked you that. I don't think I've ever asked you if you were ever scared.
I mean, there was times I was scared.
Yeah.
For going overseas, no, not at all. I was very excited. There were times that I was scared, absolutely. But far as just going overseas to combat, no, I honestly was not scared. And I'm not trying to make myself sound cooler.
Well, I know it's a common thing because I mean, a lot of our friends, I mean, that's like at the level that you guys were at. It's like
I was excited to go, but again, I had already been in for 3.5 years. I was trained. I was just in a different mindset. I re-enlisted to go. I was excited to go.
Yeah.
Maybe I was scared once that entire deployment. Maybe once, maybe twice.
Just because of the proximity of how just crazy shit was getting, or
no, just like I remember. I remember like this standoff we had this one time, and it was this guy, and he had a rifle. It's a long story. I don't want to tell the whole thing, but basically it was like night. We had night vision on, and this guy like heard us and came out, and he had his rifle, and it was just this. I felt like it must have went on for like 10 minutes, but it was probably 40 seconds. I was scared only because I was confident that he wasn't a bad guy, but he heard us, and he came out with a gun, and it could have turned into us fucking whacking this dude. There's like 4 of us, right? And we wouldn't have been wrong. It's not like fucking CSI comes up and goes, oh, fucking the shot. No one gives a fuck. There's not even a, it's like, yeah, this guy had a gun, we fucking killed him. At that time, we wouldn't even have had to said that. It wouldn't even have been that. There was no rules of any kind. I mean, fuck, had he not had a gun, we could have been like, yeah, this guy fucking spooked us, we shot him. It's a fucking war zone. So, and
is that weird to get? I mean, do you get used to that, where it's just like, hey, those rules that you live in society about, where you can't really kill someone unless your life is like really being threatened? Take those rules and throw them out the fucking window.
So I'm glad you asked me that. When you're in a war zone, there are no rules. Oh, well, they come later. But at that time, Afghanistan. So let me give you an example of what happened.
Is this 02 or 01 you're in?
This is 02.
Okay.
Beginning of 02. Or, well, like 3 months into 02. I remember there were these prisoners at Kandahar when we first got there. And they were like in this little building, and basically they had to like, they had it guarded, but they had to keep them in there. And there's just no real infrastructure. There's no wood, nothing had been flown in yet. So the way that they kept him in there is they wrapped this tin building with fucking chain link fence. And then they hooked up a fucking Humvee battery to it.
So they just made a fucking electric enclosure, essentially.
Yeah, with no voltage filter or amperage filter. Literally, if they would have touched it, it would have fucking fried one of them and fucking killed them. No question. There was no fucking Red Cross or anything. And the reason I'm saying that is there was no rules. And when there's no rules, you see how people operate in an environment where there's no rules.
Yeah.
And what that actually is we think humans are this way. You're like, yeah, people are fundamentally good. No, they're not. No, they're not. You think that because you see them in an environment where there are draconian freaking consequences if they break the rules. First world American society, that's what you see, and you think people are good because of it.
Yeah.
They are good because they're held in place by consequences. Once you see those same people in an environment that doesn't have those consequences, you will see what people are really like. You will see, what those individuals are really like, and you will understand something about humans that you can never understand in this environment. Never.
Yeah.
Because you're seeing them held in place. You're seeing them handcuffed. You can only see what they're really truly like when they're in an environment where they are only restricted by their own internal morality, not an external one.
Now, when you put your head in that mindset of like, okay, handcuffs are off, let's fucking go. Were you one of those people that had a hard time putting them back on when you came home? Was it like, or you knew how to compartmentalize it?
I had been compartmentalizing my entire life, so it was really easy for me.
Okay.
It was super easy for me. I mean, I don't think you have that much time for a show to but as a kid, I mean, my childhood, like I was so good at compartmentalizing at that point that it was so easy for me to do.
Instinctual.
Yeah, it was. I had been living since 13 as someone else.
Yeah.
So, I had my character and I was living that character, and I just did everything through that character.
Yeah. Now, when you're out there and it's like, hey, you just landed in fucking, whatever, Bagram, wherever you are. And they're like, okay, you're going out. It's a real world mission now. You've been training for 3-4 years. Now it's real. Does that hit you, or you just treat it like training and you're like, oh, okay, it's just, instead of a target, it's still a target. It's just not a paper target.
So I think the best way I can answer that question is that things are just, I don't know how to say it, but when you're younger, you just see the world differently.
Yeah.
Like,
things don't seem like such a big deal.
None of it was a big deal. To see a dead body wasn't a big deal. To go out, we were doing 4-day missions, me and 3 other dudes. We're doing 4-day missions out on our own, sleeping fucking, lone survivor style. We got busted by one time, but they didn't come and kill us because we moved.
Mm-hmm.
But it was one of those things where now looking back, yeah, it's completely different now. It's just like, oh my God, I cannot believe, and Afghanistan was nothing compared to Iraq. Like, I mean, Iraq was fucking, Iraq was Saving Private Ryan. Like, when I was in Fallujah, fuck.
Yeah.
That made Afghanistan look like fucking child's play. Now, granted, that was Afghanistan in 2002. It heated up and became a different war later.
For sure.
But like, dude, Fallujah 2004, I mean, dude, that was Saving Private Ryan. Watching fucking tanks shoot buildings. We were calling in F-18s, dropping bombs on houses. It was fucking insane. Like, that, to me, that was war. I was like, oh, fuck. Like,
yeah,
Fallujah in 2004, I'll give you an example. If you saw someone, you could kill them.
Jesus.
If you saw them,
That didn't matter, man, woman, child, whatever.
Fucking gun, no gun, fucking bubble gum. If you saw a living person, you were authorized to kill them.
Wow.
Not only that, I remember looking through the scope, and because Spectre, dude, we go out on where we're staying up on, because everyone has the ability to go on the roof in Iraq, and we had to pull legitimate guard duty. Fucking DFO, we were on the fucking pulling. Is this when
are you a ranger at this point, or are you in a tier 1 unit?
I was in a tier 1 unit, so we'd go on the roof, and dude, Spectre would come in, and it was cleared hot. Anything moving at night, and it would shoot all of its shit, and we just fucking watch it like it was fireworks.
Holy shit! And it would lay waste to fucking blocks of a city.
Lay waste. It would do it over about 3 hours, and then it would leave, and then another one would come on station in the same orbit, fucking blow the fuck out of shit, and then it would leave, and I think it was 3 every night.
Holy fuck.
Would come on. And then in the morning, I remember looking through, because I'd been a sniper in Afghanistan, I brought a sniper rifle. I was looking through the scope. Dude, and you'd see, dogs in Iraq or Afghanistan. Oh, fuck, dogs in the Middle East, quite frankly, for that matter, are not dogs. Like, they're wild packs of fucking...
Like dingoes.
Yeah, they are. And I remember seeing, like, dogs just... I remember specifically one dog carrying a fucking arm. Fucking eat people.
Fucking lunch.
Well, people get blown up and fucking they'd be like, oh, fucking arm, fucking there's a bone, carrying an arm through the city and just fucking, no big deal.
Is it now? You have. I know you as someone who's got a great sense of humor. Was that something that you had with you your entire career?
Absolutely, yeah.
Or was that something developed?
No, I've always been like that. Like my way of always mitigating, Well, me, when we used to do the adventure races and stuff, the way I mitigate stress is through comedy. Like I was making jokes after I got blown up.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Some really funny ones, too.
Do you mind talking about...
At least I thought they were funny.
Do you mind talking about getting blown up?
I don't give a fuck.
What happened?
I got blown up.
Okay. How?
No, so I'll try and give I've told it in detail before. I'll tell more of the hyper. But basically, we were doing missions every single night. This was this wasn't the Fallujah trip. This is we're in Baghdad, and we had a mission in Sadr City, which is ironically South Central Baghdad. No shit. Sadr City's a shit. Well, I don't know what it is today, but back then it was fucking shit. It was like a shanty town, and there was no real roads. It was all like dirt and just. But it was winter, so it had rained, so it was like muddy. It was just shitty. And we were going to hit this house, and I won't explain kind of the details of why we were exactly where we were. And well, I'll say this: at the time we were going after Zarqawi, which did for 4 years or whatever the unit did. But so basically, we hit this house, go in, and you develop, in my opinion, I was never a cop, but you develop what I call like a cop sensibility of you go in and you just kind of know if people are guilty or innocent.
Yeah.
In my experience, if you go in and the women and children are fucking, what the fuck, going fucking bananas, the kids are screaming, the wives are fucking going crazy. In my experience, they're innocent. If you go in and the wife and kids are like, they don't stand. The reason,
they're guilty as fuck.
They're guilty as fuck. Why? Because they know.
Yeah.
They know this was, they knew this could happen, so they don't say anything. But if you go in and it's the innocent house, they're going, well, what the fuck are you doing here? Legitimately. So in this house, everyone's fucking going bananas, and I was just like, and it was more than that, too. I was like guarding this room, and it was like a woman, a man, I think, and a kid, and I was talking to him, and it was very broken, but I was like, this is not a conversation you'd have with bad people.
Yeah.
I could just tell. And I remember getting the call that, hey, your team come outside. And so I went outside. We had a dev group team attached to us, and they called them outside. And basically they're like, hey, we don't think it's here. And we were there for like 45 minutes trying to figure shit out. Again, I won't go into details on what that was, but they're like, hey, we think it's actually this house next door. And it was like maybe 50 yards away because of the way the streets and everything were. And so we're like, all right. So the dev group team started going around the right side to go to the front of the house, and we were going to enter on the back side of the house. And I don't know, maybe I was 20 yards from the back of it, and just, it's like probably the most gunfire I've heard ever, probably, except maybe at like a machine gun range. But I don't know how many dudes, 6, 8, but it was all dudes on the front side of the house just opening up with AKs. And they shot, I think, 3 of the guys on the front side. And that team, you know, I'm down, you know, like we knew that team was shot up. Andy Stump.
Good old Andy.
It's been talked about on the internet, so I'll say it. He was one of the people shot on the front side. And I think, you know, maybe 20 yards from the back. And I was breacher, so team breacher, I should say. So I fucking ran. I couldn't tell you if you put a gun in my head how I got in that door. I don't remember. But I got in there and started clearing through the house, me and this other dude. And then we cleared the kitchen. We cleared this other room. I don't know if I ever told this part of the story, but I went in this other room and I entered and I turned and a guy's AK hit me in the chest.
Shit.
I ever told you this story?
No. No, I think you told me that, like, you didn't punch a guy.
I tell very few people this story, but yes. Yeah. So it hit me. It literally, I ran into it. Actually, is a better way to say it. I wouldn't say it hit me. I ran into it. And I very quickly just moved the barrel and punched him. I can't remember if I hit him with my rifle or again, I don't remember. But I remember moving his AK, fucking knocking him out, pulling him in, because there was a woman behind him. Again, it's weird what your mind remembers. She was either wearing pink or purple. And I know that because when I was standing in front of him, seeing him, I could see the outline of her, like, nightgown, whatever you want to call it. So she was
right behind him?
She was literally right behind him.
Is that why you didn't want to shoot him?
In the millisecond decision I made, yes. Yeah, it was pink or purple. To this day, I cannot remember the color. Like I see both in my mind. It's weird. So I mean, again, like, could I have offset and shot him? Yeah, but that decision I made in the split second was that. And then we went down the hallway, and then they started shooting through the walls. So as we went down the hallway, they started shooting. They basically either heard us, felt us, I don't know. It was not a huge place. And they started shooting through the wall. The guy next to me got hit, I want to say 3 times. Again, I don't fucking remember. But he said, I'm hit. I could feel the pressure of the bullets coming through the wall, and the wall exploding, because it was always, like, brick and shit.
Yeah.
So we backed off. We're like, that ain't going to happen. We backed off, and then we got to... he went outside to get treated, and then I was next to this one dude, and then another guy who I don't actually remember who it was offhand now. I remember who one of the guys was. And then tactically, it was a very difficult, because they were down a hallway at the end on a door. So it'd be like if we were there at that gold thing, and I mean, it's further, it's like triple the distance, and they were in that door. So to throw a grenade from there, you have to get up to get it in that angle. There's no way to do it. And so we had basically, like, made a quick, again, I felt like I was there for 10 minutes. It was probably 10 seconds. And he was going to basically prep a grenade, and then I was going to, like, shoot the door. It was a really quick plan.
Yeah.
All this while, a bunch of shooting still going on. And it's all happening in a house, within... fucking.
And this is what, like a 2,000 square foot house, 5,000 square foot house?
Oh, dude, maybe 800 square feet.
Holy shit.
Maybe 1,000. Maybe 1,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, dude, it's tiny. Yeah. It's, and don't get me wrong. In fucking Iraq, I've cleared fucking 10,000 square foot mansions, like gorgeous mansions. This is like, I'd say 800 to 1,200 square feet. very tiny. I have a picture of it somewhere, but which I'll give you, post it, whatever. But there's nothing classified in it. So but you can see the hallway. So the yeah, so we're standing there, and then next thing I know, fucking boom, blown up. I remember landing on the ground. I remember being on the ground. I remember looking up and just seeing, like, you know, everything's dusty there. And I just remember seeing this, like, swirl of, like, dust and, like, embers glowing in the hallway. And I couldn't feel my right arm. I know it sounds weird, but it felt like it wasn't there. So I felt like it was blown off, and then it blew my night vision goggles. You see my helmet, right?
Yeah, I've seen a picture of your helmet.
Yeah. So it blew my night vision goggles off my face. So I went from seeing to not seeing. Blew my fucking gun up, you know, or didn't blow it up, but it fucked it up to where it was not usable, which didn't really matter because I couldn't use my arm anyways.
Yeah.
And then my pistol was on my right side. I was like, well, I'm worthless. And
you still had your teeth.
I did have my teeth, so I got and my eyes, which is good. But I got up, and I'll never forget this. I felt like my arm was gone. I felt like I needed to find it, so I started filling down. And I, in my head, had the image of that scene in Saving Private Ryan.
Where the dude's looking for his arm on the beach.
I had that, and I was like feeling around, and then I just remember thinking, it's dark. I'm never going to find, you know, like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
You know. And then I got up, and I walked out. And again, I don't know. It's like I hear people like that do certain shit. There was nothing heroic. I had absolutely no awareness of anything that was going on. I was vaguely aware that there was a gunfight still going on where the guy was next to me because he was there and he wasn't. I have no idea where he was. I might have looked right at him.
Is that common with concussive brain injuries, essentially?
I don't know. I'm assuming it is, but like, I mean, I took a lot of head trauma, but I just, whenever I hear people doing like heroic shit, like they get blown up and then they pull people out, like, that wasn't me, dude.
Yeah,
I literally was like mentally fucking handicapped. Like, I felt like my brain wasn't working. I don't know how else to say it, you know? And it just wasn't processing information. And it was just like,
well, I mean, yeah, that makes fucking sense. It's like you've just been blown up. I don't think you're going to ping awake and want to play a game of Jeopardy.
But some people do, dude. Some people, shit happens, and then they're like, all right, and grabbing people and doing crazy heroic shit. It was not me, dude. I was like, all I could do was go, I should go outside. You know, so I walked outside. There was a porch light, and I remember looking at the porch, or being under the porch light, and I remember looking at my arm, and from here to here, it was hamburger meat. Just, it looked like hamburger meat with some bone in it, you know? And that was the only time I looked at my arm for like 2 years.
Wow.
And then look at it again for like 2 years.
Shit.
Which is not as easy to do as it sounds.
Well, yeah. But when you looked at it and you saw it, were you just like, fuck?
When I looked at it, I was like, yep, that's gone.
Yeah.
There was and also 8 parts of bone were blown out. So it was, I mean, it was literally holding on. You can see it was holding on by this. And this.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, how it kept it, I don't know. It's not like I even grabbed it. I was just like, you know.
Was it just dangling?
Oh, it was just dangling. I just was like, it's gone. To me, there wasn't any doubt at that time that it was gone. And I remember thinking, God damn it, why was it my right arm? You know?
Yeah.
Couldn't have been my left.
Had
to be the one I jerk off with. Just fucking had to be. And then and again, I probably fucking jumped it on the way in. Now I'm looking at a little mini wall around their porch. I'm like, yep, that ain't gonna happen.
Yeah.
So I just sat against the wall, and at some point someone got to me and started helping me, and then that's pretty much when I started making jokes.
Really?
Yeah, but so anyways, are we going to talk about ghosts?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm kind of getting to. I'm getting to, like, you know, what is the do ghosts ever come up when you're in the military on fucking in battlefields, in war zones? You know, you guys are dealing in death.
I mean, that's a really good question. No, never. There's no time.
Yeah.
No, it's just no time for it. And you know, I don't think you can believe. You have to be very careful about what you believe.
Yeah.
You know, because, you know, when you're in that gray moral area, your beliefs are going to determine your ability to survive.
Yeah.
And you have to act in accordance with what is going to allow for your survival. Whereas here, your survival is guaranteed. And believe whatever the fuck you want because you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
But here, you got to be really careful because if you believe in something, it will take away your ability to survive. So there's a lot of very religious people. You know me, I wasn't religious. I kind of was maybe a nihilist to a degree at that time.
Yeah.
I didn't believe in fate. I didn't believe in anything, quite frankly. Fucking straight nihilist from freaking Big Lebowski. But yeah, I didn't really believe in anything at that time. I was just doing everything because I was just being, in my head, I was being self-destructive for the greater good. I was a knight.
Yeah.
A medieval knight. And if there was a person that was killing a bunch of, like, you know, the IED makers, they weren't just killing Iraqis or Americans. They were killing Iraqi kids, Iraqi women, you know, whatever. Like, fuck that guy.
Yeah. Do you believe in ghosts? Do you believe in the paranormal?
So I don't believe in the paranormal. And here's why. Actually, let me rephrase. Paranormal supernatural.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe in the supernatural.
It's fine. I had this exact conversation the other day.
But here's why also, what is supernatural?
I guess I would classify it as something we don't quite understand.
Okay, so by that qualification, there are so many things that used to be supernormal that are supernatural that are now not.
Yeah.
So to me, I have a theory. I believe that human beings are not capable of imagining anything that doesn't exist or can't exist. And you know why?
Because everything's out there already, and we're just...
Because how would it be possible?
Yeah, that's true. Well,
literally, how would it be possible that we could imagine something that either A, doesn't exist, or couldn't ever exist?
Yeah, it comes down to Murphy's Law at that point. And everyone thinks what can go wrong will go wrong, but Murphy's Law, it's actually, if it can be imagined, it can happen, or it can be real.
How many things are happening now that were all imagined at some point?
Fucking AI, dude.
How long could human beings not fly? Now they can, and now in crazy ways. People are like, yeah, with airplanes. Dude, I've seen some straight up fucking Iron Man looking shit recently. Like, technology is, technology today 100 years ago would be viewed as magic. So I now don't really, again, those terms don't mean anything to me. I just kind of look at it and go, look, what we know today is that what we knew yesterday when we thought we knew a lot, we know now that it was nothing.
Yeah.
So to think that what we know today is anything is laughable to me. Whenever people tell me shit, I'm like,
right?
Yeah, I don't care. Like, what are quarks made out of? Blah, blah, blah. What are those made out of? Like, it doesn't mean anything. The more we know, the more stuff we make to test shit, the more we realize there's just more there.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean anything. All I know is that I put all my faith in questions and none of my faith in answers.
That's a really awesome point. And I like that because it leaves you open to the experience of like, hey, have you had an experience where you were like, I don't know what the fuck that just was?
So I'll tell you this.
Besides going to war, because I'm sure that's a fucking experience.
Yeah, I mean, It is an experience, and it's an experience that you learn. Like death. I'll give you a great example about death. Death looks fucking stupid.
What do you mean by that?
Dying does not look cool. There is no way to die and look cool.
I guess you
name a single dead body. Name a single dead body you have ever seen in real life or in pictures that when you see the dead body, you go,
I've got it.
That looks cool.
I've got it.
Who?
The fucking skeleton they found in Pompeii of the dude beaten off.
Okay, I haven't seen that one. So maybe
it's a fucking skeleton of a dude like laid down and he's beating off.
Well, that guy was a fucking genius. But other than that, but you know what I mean. Like name a death picture. They just don't look cool. Death doesn't look cool.
Yeah.
The dead don't look cool. Look at a bunch of cartel videos.
Yeah.
The dead don't look cool. Doesn't matter what they did. If they're dead now, they don't look cool. And we're trying to not die. That's readily apparent. There's 3 things that we're trying to do as human beings. And this is self-evident. It doesn't. You have to believe in some answers.
Yeah.
And this is an answer I believe in. There's only 3 things we're trying to do:
eat, sleep,
not even eat, sleep,
procreate.
Yes, we have to do that, but that's not our. That's not. Well, eat and sleep will fall under something else. Number 1 is survive.
Yeah.
And anyone who goes, no, we're not really built to survive, you're a fucking idiot. Because everything that we do is all designed around survival.
100%.
So there's no, like, people can say what they want, but no. Like even people who commit suicide fight it for a long time because they're going against their fundamental nature of survival.
Yeah.
Okay. So survive. 2, fuck.
Mm-hmm. But
again,
would that come under survival though? Because you're keeping keeping.
We survive so we can fuck.
But isn't procreation though? That's falls under survival
of the species overall, but not you independently.
Okay, all right.
You independently want to survive. You independently, I'm talking about like human instincts, for lack of a better term. Your instinct is A, to survive, B, to fuck.
And what's the third? Take
number 1, care, survive of the products of number 2.
To take care of kids.
That's it.
Well, when you boil it all down, it's like that's ultimately why anyone does anything. You have a job to survive.
And that's my point.
Yeah.
And what do we get? Why does somebody wear designer sunglasses? So a hot girl goes, ooh, that guy's got designer sunglasses. Why is she attracted to sunglasses? And this is fucking evolutionary psychology. This isn't me being a fucking asshole. It's like women are attracted to survive, like men with resources, because that increases their chances for their offspring of survival. Oh my God. Men are attracted to young, attractive women because they statistically have a higher chance back in the day of having healthy offspring. Let's just fucking call it what it is.
Yeah.
And say that we're designed that way and not judge it.
Yeah. Well, the not judging has been the hardest part of fucking modern society. That's what all anyone does.
We're just built that way.
Yeah.
That's the way we're built. And anyone who goes, you're going fundamentally against how we're designed. Do I wish the world was better? Yes, absolutely. And I try and make it that way every day.
Yeah.
But there's a balance between trying to make the world better and thinking it's already where you want it to be.
Okay.
And a lot of people make that mistake. They think the world is already what they want it to be, and it's not yet. And the more you pretend it already is there, the more it actually slips back into what it truly is.
So, where's Ghost in that?
Fucking Ghost is the gap between what you want the world to be and what it is. That's actually, I just made that up. That meant absolutely nothing, but it sounded profound.
It did. That did. I was breaking that apart. I'm like, wait.
I'm able to bullshit really well. That's how I passed all my tests as a kid.
Outside of ghosts.
There's nothing outside of ghosts.
Okay, UFOs. Where are you at with that? And when you were in your old life in the military, I'm assuming you would have had clearance for things. You had top secret clearance.
Yes, I had top secret clearance. Yes.
Okay, so with top secret, can you say, like, okay, how about this? Not because you obviously can't say certain things, but if there were to be some kind of alien invasion, is there a contingency plan for that with anything that you ever heard?
So I'll tell you this about top secret clearance. This is 100% true. There is no clearance above top secret clearance.
There's no like TS fucking 14 or magenta, whatever they talk about.
So here's what happens. There's nothing above top secret, because top secret, they're doing a crazy in-depth interview. They're literally, there's a person that will go visit your fucking elementary school teacher. Like, I'm not joking. Like, I was like, they don't do that shit. No. They'll go visit your high school teachers. There's people on payroll for those clearances. That's what they do. So there's nothing above top secret clearance, but everything, it's all compartmentalization. Just like we compartmentalize our own brains, there's no clearance above. It's just once you have TS, you're read on to different compartments.
Okay.
So it's like top secret with read on to this, read on to this, read on to this.
So top secret is like, you now have the backstage pass to the venue. Now let's just see where you can, where they'll let you in.
Exactly.
Okay.
So that's the overall background, all that shit. Now the compartmentalization is basically need to know basis. It's used in movies all the time, but literally, I don't give a fuck if you have a top secret clearance. If you don't need to know, you won't know.
Yeah.
They won't tell you. There's shit I did that I was the person doing it, and I didn't have the information because I didn't need to know to do what I was doing.
Interesting. So who determines when and how to read people in?
Oz, obviously.
My dad?
I choose you. No, I don't know. I don't know.
Interesting.
I don't know. Yeah, but so there's a guest that I'm gonna tell you. You gotta have Garrett. It's got Garrett on.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna set this up. Garrett went to Area 51 for a practice mission.
Okay. Yep.
And you will laugh as hard as you can possibly laugh when he tells you the story about when he's at Area 51.
Did you ever go to Area 51?
No, I did not. Or sort of.
Were you in like in one of the adjacent areas?
Yeah.
Because isn't it like there's area?
It's fucking huge.
It's
It's huge. It's huge.
And it's mainly used. I mean, I know that it's weapon testing out there for the most part, right?
No.
Huh. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, not weapon testing. Well, it depends on what you define as a weapon.
Okay. So, all right, is it how about
Testing.
a research? It's a research facility.
Testing, yes.
Okay.
I wouldn't go as far to say weapon testing. I'd say testing.
Have you ever come across anyone that saw anything weird at some of those top secret sites?
Yes.
Really? Oh, fuck.
I mean,
weird
again,
like
though,
human tech or weird like strange tech?
See, again though, that's also a tough one because
How do they know?
exactly.
Yeah.
Like I've heard scientists say I've heard scientists doubt the origin of information and technology. They're like, I don't know, this jump doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
I mean, let's use something that we know doesn't make sense.
Well, the fucking internet, for one. That's such an advanced...
Well, let's go far back. Fucking pyramids.
Fucking...
We know that doesn't make sense.
100%.
We know that.
But enough people in white coats tell you it does. People go, okay. I mean, fucking...
It doesn't make sense. There's shit missing. And again, for me going, well, yeah, of course there's stuff missing. And then they go, no, here's the answers. I go, no. Like, the answers are not important. What's interesting, again, are the questions.
Yeah.
Going back to, so here's my thing with aliens. And this is my personal belief. Did I see anything ever at my time in the government that said aliens? No. I'll tell you right now.
Did you ever encounter tech that you still haven't seen out in the real world while you were in the military? What was it, 15 years ago?
I'll say this. The greatest movie of all time, as far as I'm concerned, is The Matrix.
It's a great story.
For one reason and one reason only. Because it taps on something so fundamental. What is the foundation of the first Matrix movie? More towards the beginning. More in the real world, or more in the Matrix, not in like Zion.
You love your questions. Let me think. The foundation to it, I would probably say.
What's the foundation for Neo's character in the beginning?
He's searching. He's following the right rabbit.
Why?
Because he wants to know why.
Why what?
Why it is what it is.
No. Close. The world doesn't make sense.
That's a good point. Okay.
That is absolutely central to the entire movie, is that the world doesn't make sense. Quote, something is wrong with the world. Quote. Quote from that movie. We have the same problem here.
As far as what, you and him, or just everything? You think the world does... Oh, well, I don't think the fucking world makes sense.
No, not only does it not make sense, it so doesn't make sense. It's so ridiculous that I'm at the point now with my age that knowing what I know...
Do you think we're in a simulation?
I don't see how we're not.
Okay.
I don't see how we're not.
Well, I mean, I guess if we're leaning into the simulation, do you think ghosts are... As they say in The Matrix, a ghost in the Matrix. It's a fucking rewrite. It's a blip.
Yeah, I think any of that's possible. I won't even say simulation. There's only one thing that makes sense to me, and that's the world's a game. It's the only thing that makes sense to me. It's the only, I call it the universal translator or universal logic translator. When you look at the world and it doesn't make sense, if you go, oh, what if the whole thing is a game? Then everything immediately makes sense. Generational wealth. People like Elon Musk. He makes sense. Jeff Bezos makes sense. Bill Gates makes sense. Einstein makes sense. Tesla makes sense.
Because it's a game, you're saying that, I guess, anything's possible in a game?
No, I'm saying that they're fucking cheat codes. They're super users.
So you're saying that they've figured out a way to tap into the fucking source code and
the most fundamental lie of this entire world is that A, justice exists. B, that things are equal.
Yeah, well, nothing. I mean,
nothing is equal.
Yeah.
Anyone who disagrees with me right now and thinks there's anything such as equal, just go watch a nature documentary.
100%. I say that all the fucking time. Equality is not a natural occurrence.
It's unnatural, and when you try and create it, you again go against the fundamental laws of nature, and you end up creating something unequal because equality itself doesn't exist anywhere in nature. Nowhere. Nor does justice. Again, don't believe that there's justice. Go watch a fucking nature documentary.
Yeah, but justice is it's a social perception.
It's a perception. It's a perception. Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I've always thought that, because I'm always like, all right, if someone's getting sent to prison for something that they did, you know, whether they're guilty or not, that person is going to feel like, well, that's not fair. I don't. Like,
of course.
They're going to feel like justice isn't being served to them.
Well, what else is a social perception?
The binary, man.
I'm gonna tell you one truth that I came up with when I was in high school. One. There's only one.
What?
Okay. There's only one universal truth.
You're gonna die?
Nope. One universal truth, and the universal truth is that there is no such thing as universal truth, because everything is based on perception, and the fact that someone will disagree with what I just said is what makes it true. Boom. Mic drop. I'm out.
Fucking imagine you on mushrooms. That's all I'm gonna say.
It's not fun.
Yeah.
It's not fun. That's why I don't smoke weed, dude. It's like the worst experience ever.
Fuck. I'm glad you don't smoke weed.
Yeah, I never smoke weed. But I'd smoke weed with like somebody cool.
Right?
You know?
Who would you smoke weed with?
You know, like Elon
Musk.
Yeah, fucking Joe Rogan, Snoop Dogg, just because he's Snoop Dogg. If I could be on Joe Rogan tomorrow, I'll tell you what I would want to be on about.
Go on.
Talking about the future.
Okay.
That's what's interesting to me, because I think that the future, people are seeing shit right now and being like, oh my God, that's scary. you are fucked. You're fucked. If you think what is happening right now is scary, you just might as well fucking kill yourself.
That's true.
Because what's going to happen in 10 years
it's
is
fucking Elysium.
going to blow people's fucking minds apart. People can't even imagine
Elysium.
what's coming.
Dude, it's full on fucking Elysium. The
It's-
elites are going to be living on the fucking moon.
Crazier than Elysium. You know why?
Why?
Because technology is moving faster than the pace of science fiction.
This is true. Because science fiction ideas are running out.
Literally, imagination is running out.
Yeah.
We are developing at a speed so quickly. Guess where the next level of imagination will come from?
Fucking AI. Yeah.
What do you think they're going to imagine?
Well, I think isn't that a part what the writer strike's about? They don't want AI.
Yeah, it's a big part. Yeah,
they don't want AI writing scripts.
Yeah.
So now you're tell your fucking ghost story.
Ghost story. All right. This kind of goes along with what I was saying about the world, actually. This actually goes really right along with it. So there's something wrong with the world because nothing makes sense. Nothing makes sense. It just doesn't.
Well, the fact that you're a fucking writer, producer, fucking actor, director now, coming from being a fucking operator, that doesn't make sense.
Well, I mean, nothing makes sense. Like the world just, it doesn't, nothing that happens. Like I'll give you an example. I was just at this event called Sundream.
What? Sundream?
Yeah, Sundream. It's a musical event.
Oh, okay.
Did a bunch of drugs. It was awesome. So, I'm just kidding. Where am I? No. No, Tylenol.
I mean, if you did, we should probably have a conversation after this.
And no. So we did go to this event called Sundream, and it was a rave. So yes, there was a lot of people on drugs. But Elon Musk was there.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. Which I was like, that's weird. So here's the thing. That guy, who's basically, let's just call it what he is. He's fucking Iron Man.
Yeah.
Okay. He's going to reveal the suit at some point. He's like single-handedly trying to save the fucking world.
In the most gangster way possible.
Yet he's also at Sundream.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't make sense to me. Here's what I mean by that. Imagine what he knows. Think of the shit he must know. And yet, with all the shit that he knows and can do and is doing, he was like, you know what? I'm going to go party in Mexico. That doesn't make sense to me.
It's a fucking good point.
You see what I'm saying?
Like, who's got time to go fucking...
make sense.
When he's launching shit into space and fucking fixing the fucking car industry and
Dude,
Twitter and...
look up video of him. He's fucking dancing, having a great time.
I saw it. I didn't realize it was at the festival that you were at.
It doesn't make sense.
Okay, so get to your fucking ghost story.
Okay, ghost story. And this, again, goes along. So, I have a girlfriend, which you haven't met.
Yep, have not met.
I have not
He
met.
has a girlfriend. Sure. I'm just kidding. I've seen pictures together.
She's digital. Leave her alone. No, but so prior to meeting her, super,
rough
logical. Oh no. Well, yeah. Self-destructive relationship wise, yes, I was. But my point being is, no belief in fate, all these different things, whatever. So I meet her online almost a year ago, like 10 months ago. This girl is everything I ever wanted, to the point where I'm like a little freaked out. Like if I was going to fucking go weird science and fucking like make a girl with a computer.
Kelly LeBrock style?
She's that girl.
Oh, wow.
In looks, in personality, everything. I've now been with her almost a year. You get to know each other really well, like, but in every other way. Like, it's to the point where I'm like, and you've seen her, she's a fucking 12 out of 10. She's a 10 with no makeup and fucking pajamas.
Mm-hmm.
What are the odds of that?
So you're saying that you think the source code has, the simulation has provided it to you? Is she an NPC? Is she just kind of turned off in the corner when you're not there?
No, it's funny because I use the NPC analogy all the time. No, it's just I think she's a player character, but what are the odds? Like, legitimately, what are the odds? What are the odds of a girl being as beautiful on the inside as they are on the outside? That alone is fucking.
Well, I'm going to quote you.
1 in a million.
I'm going to quote you though. Everything's perception.
This is true.
So yeah, I mean, I've seen pictures of her, haven't met her. I mean, she looks like a very beautiful woman, and you're a very lucky man.
But I'm saying on the inside,
you're definitely dating out of your above your batting average for sure.
Yeah. No, I'm good at that. No, but again, what makes her rare is not her on the outside; it's her on the inside.
Totally,
like
she's
also smart. She's funny. Like,
so you think
now we're getting into territory. It's like, whoa, you're that good looking. She's literally a professional world champion fitness model.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
She's lazy.
She's smart. She's funny. She's good at business. Like, at what point do you go,
when's the shoe gonna drop?
Yeah. And it's again, she said this in the beginning. Oh, it's just gonna get better. And I'm going, and it has. She was right. I was wrong. So now, legitimately, I'm going, what are the odds of this? What are the odds?
So
this
you
is
think
everything I've ever wanted since I was a kid, since I was a fucking kid.
So you think your relationship is a paranormal
Hold
occurrence?
on. Let me one up it. I was downloading shit from my phone to my computer 3 months ago.
Uh-huh.
You know, all photos, whatever. In 2021, I saved an image of her.
Oh, creepy.
Yeah, I'm really fucked up, right? I saved an image of her and like basically put it into like, this is the most perfect looking girl I've ever seen folder.
Holy shit.
And it's her. And I was like,
I mean, that's creepy and also wild at the same time.
dude, everyone's got to have a fucking folder of like dreams.
You're
Fuck
big
you for judging me.
You're big into you're like a digital hoarder. You've got like folders in your computer of everything.
I know. And I'm also like, dude, look, I fully admit I had Playboy as a kid. Like, fucking, I like fucking pictures of hot girls. Kill me. Fuck you. So, basically, no, but I was like, babe, come take a look at this.
Awkward.
You know?
Did she have a picture of you saved from 2021?
No, it turns out it's just my dick.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was weird. Really weird.
It must have been love.
No, so basically but again, what are the odds of that?
Yeah.
And it's just one of those things where now I'm like, okay, that's possible. That's happened. And it's really changed my entire view at everything. Because when I finally stopped and said, you know what? This is what I want, and this is like what I'm only going to accept this. It came. So all that manifesting shit, all that shit that I was like, that's like bullshit.
There's something to it.
There's something to it.
Yeah, I believe
and
so.
And if there's something to manifesting.
Is that different from prayer?
Again, it depends on perception.
Yeah.
I mean, yes and no. But again, it goes back to if manifesting, I would say 5 years ago, 2 years ago, I would have said no.
Totally.
I'm not saying no or yes now. I'm just saying the fact that we can manifest some control over the game has changed my fucking perception.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm like, wait a minute. Like, I thought nothing that we did mattered.
Mm.
And now I'm going, well, I can demonstrate that when I put out into the world what I wanted, it did come.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It answered you.
It did answer, and it's like I didn't believe in that. So now I got to go, everything I ever had was because that's where I led myself. So the only way to get further is now to go against everything I've ever believed, to take me somewhere new.
Okay. I mean, it's is that an overcomplication of a process?
Are you insinuating that I overcomplicate anything? Fucking piece of shit. I never overcomplicate anything. No, I'll tell you. Let me be very critical. So Jack knows this. Actually, Jack's the one who took me to rehab in 2021.
Yeah, it was 2021. Yeah.
Yeah, 2021. So Jack actually took me there. So I'm 40 whatever in rehab, going,
How'd I get here?
How did I get here? Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah. What happened? You, at least you were there at like 15. I mean,
Yeah.
fuck. It's like you weren't judging yourself on your age. In fact, you're going, I'm at rehab at 15. I'm
like,
a fucking badass.
17.
Fucking
17.
Yeah, you're like, fuck, I'm ahead of the game, boy. What? Right?
I always say I went pro really early.
Yeah, exactly. Just like a hockey kid straight out of fucking hockey camp. You're like fucking pro. Exactly, And so for me, I'm sitting there going, how did I get here at this age? How did I get here in general? No different than you. And the answer is pretty fucking simple, which is my beliefs and choices led me here. Like, what does that mean? And to me, it could only mean one thing. What I believed in, the choices I made, everything that I thought life was, it isn't. There's more to it than what I thought.
Yeah.
And to get me to somewhere else, like I have to go against the limitations that I thought existed. I have to go against the personal limitations. I have to go against the personal expectations. I have to go against my view, my worldview, everything I realized there, everything in my brain was limiting. And I went, okay, that limiter, what if that wasn't true?
Yeah.
What if that wasn't true? And then you just start picking them apart, and then you realize they're true if you make them true.
And so you believe that about your relationship, like you wanted this, and you essentially you seeked it out, or you willed it into being.
I did, because I said I am no longer going to settle.
Yeah.
I am going to get
I can relate
exactly
to that.
what I want, and if I don't get that, then fuck it, I'll die
Yeah.
alone. I don't give a fuck. And you know what's crazy is she said the same thing.
I get that. It's very similar to mine and Aries' relationship in the sense of like, I was like, hey, I'm not doing this for any other reason, out for anything but I need to be happy. At its core, it's what it boils down to. Like, I need to find that person that makes me happy, that makes me want to that I want to do life with, essentially.
You said something that I want to mention, because I think a lot of people fuck it up. And her and I talk about this all the time. You just said, makes me happy. And a lot of people go, oh, Jack, someone else can't make you happy. You're either happy on your own or you. Fuck you.
No, someone fucking can make
someone
you happy.
Can make you happy. And you know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
like no, someone can make you happy. And it's not happy, it's happier, but you get my point.
But what you're talking about, though, at the end of the day is like, okay, is love quantified? Like, is it an actual tangible thing? And is it real? And if you were to tell someone, well, no, it's a freaking feeling. It's not. You can't.
There's a great book called Why We Love. It's by a woman who's an evolutionary psychologist.
Oh,
she's also a woman. It's called Why We Love. And the summary of her book, read it, because I'm just going to say the summary of her book is she ends it with something along the lines of, yeah, love may be an illusion brought on to us by, nature to blah, 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 blah.
Survival.
It may be an illusion, but it doesn't mean I can't enjoy the illusion.
100%. But here's the thing, though. It's like when I look at my kids, and I'm like, I fucking love them in a way which it's so real. It's so like a driving force for what I do, why I get up, what I have to accomplish. Like it's basically become the fuel for my life now. And so to say that isn't that's an illusion, whatever. I mean, maybe it is. Maybe it is maybe it's just the code right now telling me that this is my mission.
It goes back to what we were talking about with truth. And it's like truth is an illusion.
Perception.
So does the term your truth make sense? Yeah.
If you were to frame it as your perception, sure.
Yeah, you have your truths.
Yeah.
They are truths to you without question. And again, it's like I love
Tyler, is that a microaggression?
I'm going to be very proud of something and say that I don't even know what that term means. And
Hey,
I feel very
you need
happy
to check
about
your
that.
cisgender white male privilege right now, okay?
I dude, don't make me go all fucking Jordan Peterson on this, because I'll fucking start pulling out some shit. But it's one of those things where it's like your truth is. I used to hate when people said that, you know, your truth, oh, my truth. Well, yeah, but there's a universal fucking truth, and you're full of shit. But there is now. I'm like, there is something to be said for your truth, because that's how you view it, and it again, it's like we see someone with schizophrenia. Somebody's fucking talking to him.
His truth is as fucking people chatting away at him all day long.
Do we hear it? No, but he does.
Yeah,
and. Who is to say universally that we're wrong? And the whole fact of everything comes down to you can never evaluate a system universally. You can never evaluate a system from within that system.
Yeah.
So
it's a really good point.
Anything that we try and evaluate with life through this brain, we're trying to evaluate a system within a system. Nothing we say matters. There is no universal truth because we're not capable of perceiving it outside of ourselves. So what does it matter if it exists or not?
You must have been a real pain in the ass in rehab.
I was a bigger pain in the ass in fucking school, but yeah.
Well, on that note, don't get older. You won't like it, Tyler.
Dude, I don't. I really don't.
Yeah, fuck, man.
All right.
Adios. Oh, yeah, you guys, make sure you click like and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. You can find this podcast wherever you get podcasts from. Tyler, where can people find you? Aside from CBS SEAL Team.
Right now I'm Oh, you mean like in the
yeah.
Oh, yeah, the Grounder scheme. Instagram Tyler A Gray, Grey. I haven't gone back to Twitter since
it's a much better place now.
That's pretty much it. Yeah, Instagram. That's all I have.
Instagram Tyler. Okay. And Kandahar is out.
No,
well, it'll be out by the time.
Yeah, it opens this Friday, so it'll be out by the time that you record.
Love it. Awesome.
Catch you on the flip side.
Adios, folks.